Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Now, I don't know about you guys listening, but I seldom watch live broadcast TV anymore, so I'm able to avoid those pesky TV ads. And magazines that are just full of glossy ads, they've disappeared from my life too. So this got me thinking, how can advertisers reach modern audiences in a Netflix world where we avoid ads at all costs? So on today's podcast, I wanted to explore how outdoor advertising has actually found a second life in the digital revolution and is actually driving digital and social media engagement. Jeannot Sesto is the founder and CEO of Dash2, and he's got a few fantastic stories to share with us today about his life, his business, and also the future of advertising. So buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to LA so we can speak with Jeannot Sesto from Dash2. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Oh, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you for the invitation to be on your podcast. My name is Jeannot Sesto. I'm the owner, founder, CEO, all of that, for Dash2, which is a media buying agency. Our home office is based in Culver City, California, and we also have some satellite offices. We have a satellite office in Nashville. It works a lot with our entertainment-based clients. Nashville is a hot market, as you well know. And we also have an office in, if you can believe it, Pakistan. Pakistan does a lot of our back-end development, as well as our data entry for a lot of our advertising campaigns. They also do all our invoicing, and Pakistan actually works our Pacific time zone, hours.
Now, it's also worth mentioning, I think, that you've got a fascinating backstory that will inspire many, many tech startup founders that could be listening now. I mean, it seems you've lived quite a full life, from enjoying phenomenal success, hanging out with Playboy bunnies, to being out of a job, downsizing during a recession, and digging deep to find lessons from your granddad during the Great Depression. So can you share a little of that backstory with the listeners? Because I think it's going to be so valuable to people that are on a similar journey.
Absolutely. This is really, really where my heart and soul lies. To give more of a backstory, in the late 90s, I was working at another advertising agency and just doing the grind, being an employee, taking the salary and going home and, forgetting everything. And I watched the owners of the company that I worked for, they had houses everywhere, fancier cars, and they didn't worry about money. And I thought to myself, well, there's trade-offs. They have a lot of stress in their lives, and but when things are going well, guess what? Things are going well. Yeah. As an employee, you don't reap those rewards. You might get a nice little bonus in the holidays, but you're not getting the twofold, threefold salary bumps that you do when you have a really, really good year. So the recession hit. I found myself out of a job and was looking for any kind of job I could find. I mean, I was with 10, 15 years of advertising experience, and I was applying for coordinator jobs. And I was, this was a bad time. People were losing their jobs, and I was trying to find a job. I ended up finding a job as I was doing ad technology, ad serving at a ad network. A sports ad network. Lasted about 3 months, got let go because they downsized, and did this a couple times. Had a job for a couple months, downsized, no more job. And finally, I had to just dig deep, as you put it, and decide, well, it's time to, hang my own shingle, as they put it. And I really looked towards my grandfather, who had a business for 50 years, pretty much, running his own business. And my father as well. We've always been a family of entrepreneurs. And I just decided it was time to do it. And it was probably the worst time to start a business. I had a mortgage, I had, responsibilities, and I decided that rather than having a day-to-day job, steady salary, which wasn't really possible at the time, it's time to just start your own business. And I had some connections from previous employment when I was working at the advertising agency that had let me go. And I just reached out to a few of those clients and started it myself. And I don't know if you're familiar with media buying and ad buying. It's a very, very capital intensive business because most ad agencies don't ask for money up front from their clients. And so, a client can come to you and book $50,000, $100,000 of advertising, and you probably won't see that money for 3 or 4 months if you're lucky. And so I was in a good position financially that it was time to just start my own advertising agency. And the rest is history. So I've been doing it for 10 years now. I've had a profitable business since day one. And I really, really owe a lot to my grandfather and the way he operated his business and the way he looked at money and the way he looked at managing money. Without that insight, I probably wouldn't be in business today.
So here in 2018 at Dash 2, you pride yourself on providing expertise in the science of digital and the art of outdoor advertising. But can you just set the scene a little and help anyone listening visualise exactly what you do and how you help the customers overcome challenges in a digital world?
Well, that's a mouthful, and it's really, we're as Dash 2, and you hit the nail on the head. We're an outdoor and a digital agency, and it just sounds so odd to most people when they first hear it, because there's so many digital agencies out there. In the U.S., there's probably 18,000 digital agencies, and on the flip side, there's maybe 10, 15 legitimate outdoor agencies. And so we were 3-4 years ago really, really focusing all our efforts on digital advertising because that's where everything's going. Everybody's doing digital advertising. It's all going digital. TV's dead, radio's dead, print's dead, traditional, the whole 9 yards is dead. And what we found was that after a while, you kind of get fatigue of digital. There's budgets, and there's budgets that our clients have, and it's not all just earmarked for digital. And they get tired of the Facebook ads, the Instagram ads, the Twitter ads, and it gets just monotonous and fatigue. And there's a whole bigger world out there. And so we really started pushing the outdoor as a complement to the digital. Digital for us has always been the intangible. Our clients don't always see their own ads. So, our clients are typically older, and as an agency, we're targeting most of our effort digitally to a lower age bracket, and so they typically won't see all their ads. And so, in their minds, the ads aren't really running because it's not in front of them. But when we start doing outdoor ads, they start to see it and believe it and feel it. And so it's really taking that intangible world and making it tangible for them.
So when I was doing a bit of research about you guys, what quickly fascinated and intrigued me was how traditional outdoor advertising has now actually found a second life in the digital revolution. Can you expand on that?
We're like riding that wave, and we love it. As I just said, everything really, really went digital, and a lot of the clients and are looking for something to do other than just digital. And TV is dead for the millennial generation. They're just not doing the broadcast television or the cable at all anymore. Obviously, they're on YouTube watching. That's their TV. Radio is still have some life in it, but it's just flat. Print is dead. There is no other medium that is more dead right now than print. Funny fact that I like to talk about is the circulation today for the daily newspapers is the same in the United States as it was in 1930. So there's a huge cliff. And I do believe print is important, but it's just dying. And so the last real medium left, a traditional medium, is outdoor. And outdoor is the only other medium that is growing today. Digital obviously is doing 15-20% growth, but outdoor is also growing 5-10% right now. And so we're really riding that wave. with our clients, and that's why we're positioned as a digital and outdoor agency.
So how are you guys actually driving digital and social media engagement? I mean, do you have any use cases about how you've delivered those tangible results just to help people listening get a grip of what's happening there?
Absolutely. It's funny, when we do outdoor advertising, the first thing that we always think about is, how will this be shared on social media? Is this going to be Instagrammable? And it's a word now, right? Is that outdoor going to be Instagrammable? Are people going to want to share it? If not, how can we make it shareable? Whether it's the creative, whether it's the whatever what kind of outdoor we're doing, chalk stenciling, wild posting, whatever it is, we're trying to find a way to engage people to share it. It is so important for us because it's free media, and our favorite use case in this is we did a activation for Coachella year before last, and we was for Lady Gaga and Interscope Records. And what we did is we found a local liquor store, Mart, near the Coachella. I'm sure you're familiar with Coachella, the big festival, right? So I'm kind of just skipping over that. But so we found a local liquor mart close to Coachella. It was within a mile. And we went to the owner of the mart and said, hey, what do you say we put a big mural on your store here, and we'll drive people to the area because it's going to be Lady Gaga. And trust us, there's going to be a lot of people here, and they're going to go to your store, and they're going to buy stuff, and this mural is going to put you on the map. And sure enough, what we did is we got that mural for very cheap, posted it, and the day of Coachella, when people were driving out, we Lady Gaga posted on her Instagram and Twitter saying, hey, go to this liquor store, take a picture in front of this mural, and you'll get a free t-shirt. Wow. And she didn't even ask people to share it socially. It's just what people do. Like, you don't take a picture these days without thinking, how can I post this on social media? And so that happened. Within an hour or two of her posting that, we had 250 people out at that mural. It was a line of people wanting to take pictures in front of this mural, and it probably got shared thousands of times. It was, and the funny thing was, the store owner kept that mural up for a year, and it put him on the map. And he was the guy that got the Lady Gaga Coachella mural. And so there was a lot of free media that was earned by that mural.
Wow, what a fantastic story. Now, I did use the word tangible a few moments ago, so can you tell me more about how the outdoor advertising is a big thing now because it's tangible, and how digital is intangible?
Well, like I said earlier, digital is intangible because it's there and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't really share the intangible. Like, you don't see people on social media sharing social media because it's intangible. It's like you're the only one who is experiencing it. And not everybody can experience it. However, outdoor is completely tangible. You can look at it, you can see it, you can throw rocks at it, whatever you want to do with it. It's there, and it's gonna be there day in and day after day for a set amount of time. Whereas digital, it may be there, it may not be there. We don't know. It depends on the market, depends on depends on the budget, blah blah blah. But I know that when I post the billboard on Sunset Boulevard, I know I can tell the client it's up, and you can go take pictures of it, you can share it, all that kind of good stuff. We had a Guns N' Roses billboard that we put up on Sunset Boulevard, and we did, I don't know if you're familiar with time lapses.
Yes.
When they put up those billboards, it takes like 10 minutes, right? For the vinyl to go up on the billboard, these guys are quick, it's up. And then we'll take a time-lapse video of it and condense it down to 15 seconds. And so now this activation on Sunset Boulevard is shareable. And Guns N' Roses posted that on their Facebook page, and I think it got like 500,000 views. So it's, you're getting more earned media off of that free posting than you are actually on the Sunset Boulevard. It's almost like there's more value with social than with the actual physical.
And another area of the industry we must bring up here is wild posting, which obviously can get very competitive, bordering on cutthroat. But can you tell me how Dash 2 has built relationships that run from those major media companies to small shop owners in key places, like that one you mentioned a few moments ago, the Lady Gaga story?
Yeah, wall posting is an interesting thing. You obviously have it over in Europe. It's everywhere where there's a wall and there's a will. I mean, it dates back to when the carnival was coming to town, and they put posters on a wall and said the carnival's coming to town, and that was wild posting. So it dates back a long, long time, and it's really it is cutthroat. Because anybody can do it, right? Anybody can, with some posters and some wheat paste, can go ahead and put some posters up, anywhere. So it does become very competitive, and it's almost like gangland territory at times. I mean, obviously, in Los Angeles and New York, it could be that way, but in other markets, and markets like Chicago and Portland, it's not as cutthroat. But LA, it's very cutthroat, and it's to the point where there's fisticuffs happening out there on the street with these guys that are posting their posters. We, as an agency, we do not get involved in that territory. We're agnostic. We try to stay away from that because we're a real business, and we don't want to be a gang. And so we engage a lot of these people on the street. We're just above the board. And so we're able to kind of stay away from that fray. Oftentimes we get dragged in like as if we're a gang member, but we're not. But it can be cutthroat. Now, keep in mind, there are different ways of doing wild posting. The unpermitted ways, which is what you're alluding to, is the gang kind of mentality, where it's just, each man for himself. Yeah. And there's also the permitted form of wild posting, and that permitted is where a vendor will go to a landowner and say, "Hey, I'm going to put posters on your wall. I'm going to pay you a rev share for this. This is our agreement, and I own this wall." And so that stuff doesn't get touched. That stuff is respected by the gang mentality, and because they just don't want to deal with lawsuits and whatnot. So it's the permitted versus unpermitted game that we play. A lot of the agencies, the big advertising agencies like an OMD or a Shy Day, they're unfamiliar with this world. It's kind of beneath them. Maybe it's not worth their time. I'm not sure. And so a lot of them will engage us to do their wild posting for them, so they stay out of it.
Now, as we're talking about outdoor advertising, one question I've got to ask is, because I think now, of course, we're all staring down at our smartphones and not necessarily taking in our surroundings. I have seen examples where people are putting posters on the floor because that's where we're looking now. But I mean, are people really still engaging with outdoor ads? And is the key to that just putting it in unexpected places and making it socially shareable? Absolutely.
I completely disagree that to the notion that outdoor ads are not being recognized or being noticed. Yeah. If the outdoor speaks to the audience, the person that's seeing it, it's their first reaction is, should I take a picture of this and share it with my friends? Yeah. And if it's a boring corporate ad, nobody's going to do that. But the clients that we work with, fashion, music, and film, absolutely. Those are engaging fans that want to share that stuff. And oftentimes the outdoor is cryptic. That's like a thing that's been dated back to the 70s with Sunset Boulevard and cryptic billboards for music. And the cryptic ads are the ones that get shared because it's really the kids are trying to show that they're hip and they know what this billboard is actually all about. And so the billboards do speak to the right people, speak to the people that they're trying to speak to. You're not going to notice most of the billboards I put up because you're not my audience.
Yeah. Is there a big pressure on you and advertisers to make these ads actually Instagrammable, like you said a few moments ago?
Yeah, there really is. We feel like the ads are not a success unless it's been shared. I mean, the first share that we're looking for is, if it's music, we want the artist to share it on their socials. And if they don't do it, then it's like, wow, it's just a big flop. Then obviously we're looking for the fans to share it. And it if it's the right audience, if it's the right band or fashion, it will get shared. But yeah, you're absolutely right. If it's not shared socially, it's a flop. And music, Sunset Boulevard is a big thing for us right now, obviously. And every time we post on Sunset Boulevard, we are sharing it with our clients, saying, "Hey, your board's going up right now. What are the odds of the artist getting in front of this billboard and taking a picture and sharing it?"
So looking to the future then, I mean, what's next for both Dash 2 and indeed the world of advertising, if I ask you to look into your crystal ball?
Wow, I think that outdoor is ripe for some disruption. As I spoke to earlier, there's only a few agencies that really, really specialize in outdoor advertising, and they're all very old school. And that's one of the reasons why we've had a lot of success in outdoor, because we're a newer agency and we're more, we're looking for new things to do, and the older guys are just kind of doing the same over and over and over again. So I think outdoor is primed for some disruption. It's tried in the past with like QR codes and geo fencing and things of that nature, and it just hasn't taken hold yet. I think that it's coming. Something cool is going to happen, whether it be in Europe. I know that this is happening now, where I'm driving by a digital billboard, and the digital billboard says, "Hey, Gino, look at me," whatever. That kind of stuff is coming. But there's the privacy law issues that are really kind of pushing back on this stuff. Thank you, Facebook. If it wasn't that, then we'd be more prime for disruption. So I don't know what's coming in terms of the technology. Something's going to happen because it's so old school. And as far as the buying and selling of outdoor, that's ready for some disruption. There's a few tech companies that are trying to do it programmatically, and that's kind of been a dud. So it hasn't happened yet. So that's the biggest thing that we're looking for outdoor. As far as digital, I'm looking for the next Facebook. I'm always looking for the next Facebook. I'm counting the days until Google and Facebook get broken up, or the FTC, I should say. Those companies are taking 75 cents of every dollar for digital advertising, and it's ready to be broken up. I'm waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, it really does feel like there's a wind of change in the air. Now, listening to you speak there, you have worked with everyone from Playboy, Guns N' Roses to Lady Gaga and American Apparel, but has there been any funny anecdotes or funny stories that you could share with us?
Oh, yeah, we're getting a lot of... So, you know who our president is, and he's not a very well-liked president amongst a lot of the liberals in the East and West Coast. So we've gotten, in the past year or two, since he's been president, we've gotten a lot of GoFundMe-type ad campaigns that are anti-Trump. So recently, I don't know if you're familiar with Steve Bannon. Do you remember that name?
No, not off the top of my head. It sounds familiar, though.
He was in the Trump campaign, and he was very, very hated. And a lot of people were saying that he was really controlling Trump the whole time. So anyways, we had a client come out to us and said, hey, it was a creative person, just a listening person saying, hey, we want to do a GoFundMe, and we want to do these posters, make it like an art project, and say, we're going to, it says impeach Steve Bannon, or impeach President Bannon, I apologize. And so this person posted these posters on GoFundMe and got a lot of money, and then came back to us and said, hey, we got the funds, let's go run these ads. And so we ran all these ads, these wild posting and a couple different other activations, and sure enough, 2 months later, Steve Bannon's gone. So I'm not going to say that our advertising did it, but it was, we were riding that wave. So it was pretty fun. There's definitely a lot of GoFundMe calls that we get where people are trying to do something political.
Yeah, as you mentioned Steve Bannon there, his name's just dropped with me. He's been in the UK a lot recently. I can't remember what he was promoting, but he's been over here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Grab him.
Well, a big thank you for coming on today. Before I do let you go, could you just remind the listeners of where they can find you guys online and also contact a member of your team if they've got any questions at all?
Absolutely. I think the best way to find us is just Google -2, and that's DASHTWO, 2 words. Oh, and by the way, -2 is an aviation term. I didn't get into that. So -2 is, I'm a pilot. I've been a lifetime pilot. And when 2 planes are flying in formation, the one in front is -1 and the one back is -2. And we look at ourselves as -2 because our clients are -1.
I love what you guys are doing here, and I think it's going to open up a lot of eyes to people that are listening, especially because you're filling that intersection between the physical ads and the digital space and actually engaging with consumers by actually making them Instagrammable. And if it's not a word, it certainly is now after we've spoken today. But more than anything, just a big thank you for coming on and talking with me today.
Thank you for your time. It was a pleasure.
There were so many great stories from Jeannot in today's episode. And next time I make it out to the West Coast, you know what? I'm going to track him down for a cold beer, grab a few selfies by some billboards on Sunset Boulevard, and I'm going to make that a life goal right now. Or as the cool kids might say, #life goals. But there were so many great takeaways from today's episode for me, and those soulless corporate ads with stock photography of 2 middle-aged white dudes shaking hands in a boardroom are thankfully disappearing. But I love how Jeannot's creating an alternative here, something that is unique, cool, and when you walk past it in the street, you're not face down in your phone. You actually look up and think, that would look great on my Twitter, my Facebook, or my Instagram feed. I genuinely love what they're doing here, and also how outdoor advertising has found a second life in the digital revolution and is driving digital and social media engagement. So if you work in this industry, I want to hear your insights wherever you listen in the world. And I know you're all out there in 165 plus countries because I've seen the stats. So email me, techblogwriter@outlook.com, or tweet me @NeilCHughes. And if you pop by my website, techblogwriter.co.uk, go to podcasts and the blog post accompanying this podcast episode, you will also find at the end there an area where you can submit me a virtual voicemail. I try to make it as easy as possible for you guys to get hold of me. Speaking of which, I'm thinking out loud here, which is very dangerous for me, but here is a cool challenge for you all. Wherever you're listening to this show, wherever you are in the world, I want you to send me the coolest billboard that you can see. And I want you to tweet it to me now @NeilCHughes or email me. I dare you. I double dare you. But I better go now before I get myself into trouble. But as always, a big thank you for choosing to spend a little time with me today. And a big thank you for Jeannot for coming on and sharing his story. And I hope you'll all join me again tomorrow. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. And until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.